Hello everyone. I wanted to share with you an exciting new tool that we have on the KAR website for local association executives that will help you in achieving one component of the core standards. One of the standards that the state has to meet is that we provide you with a list of licensees from the Kentucky Real Estate Commission that show you all of the essentially the brokerages in the state and the number and the licensees that they have associated with them, so that you can compare what the state has on record with what we show in NRDS. Let me show you the rationale behind that. Let's say that the state licensing records have a record for an ABC brokerage. This is a brokerage that's owned by Tom, and he has 3 salespeople associated with that brokerage. And those are all registered licensees, but at the same time, Tom is also a realtor. And that means that if Tom is going to have that active brokerage, and Tom's going to be a realtor, and that brokerage is going to be a realtor associated brokerage, then that means Sandy and John and Sally all have to be realtors and dues paying members of that association, of their local association. So what we wanted to do is enable you to find out what the state licensing records are showing. So let's say that you did this, let's say that you can now do a comparison. If you took the state licensing records and you see here these 4 people underneath the ABC brokerage, and then you come and you look at your membership records for the ABC brokerage. Now keep in mind the query that we're showing you is going to be for active status brokerages, brokerages that are not realtor brokerages, that aren't members of the National Association or the state or local. Those weren't going to be included. We're only talking about brokerages who are calling themselves realtor brokerages that need all of their members underneath that broker to be realtors. That's what we're searching for. We're looking for discrepancies. And in this example that I'm showing you here, we see that Tom is the broker. He pays realtor dues. Sandy is a high producing agent. She pays realtor dues. But John and Sally are part-time. They don't really want to pay the dues, so they just worked out a little deal on the side where they can use John's MLS number and they can enter the information that they want to with Tom's account information, and they only may sell 1 or 2 or go through 1 or 2 transactions a year, and they just that way avoid paying the realtor dues. You may say, well, does that really happen throughout the state? And I think most of you are nodding your head. Yes, it does happen. We've seen it happen. And if KAR finds out about that, we send letters of noncompliance to those individuals that with a trademark infringement letter that says you can't use the realtor logo or represent yourself as a realtor if you're not a dues paying member. So essentially what we've done is developed a web application for you that's going to allow you to compare state licensing records and the KAR NRDS records, which also should be the data that you have in your system, and it's going to show you the differences. So in other words, the report that you would receive from the web application that I'll show you in a minute would essentially show you the ABC brokerage has 2 people and that would be John and Sally, that aren't dues paying members but say they're associated with the brokerage in the state licensing records. Hopefully this will save you a lot of time, and luckily from the research we've been able to do so far, there's not going to be a lot of these in your jurisdictions, in your different areas. So that's a good thing, but there may be some, and some that you want to explore. So the next phase of our presentation here will be to show you how to use the web application to do that query. All right, now we're going to show you how to access this query tool and give you some other inside information about it. The first thing you'll do is just go under our members at KAR.com and go under the members menu and click on the AE Resource Center. From here you'll have to provide a username and password. and you'll log in and you'll immediately go to that page. Up here at the top you'll see the state licensee versus NRDS records by brokerage, a comparison report tool. We'll click access the tool here and you'll come to the screen. Now notice we're in development on a new website, a new system, a new content management system, so you're going to see another little window up here that you can just ignore. You don't need to log in again. This is the core standards report. Pardon me. And what you'll do is you'll pick your association. What I will do is pick the Northern Kentucky Association of Realtors. Janie was nice enough yesterday to serve as my guinea pig. And this will show you a report of discrepancies. Now there's several different views on this report, and let me tell you the one that you'll be most interested in. When you run the report, you're going to want to show only state licensees with no matching member record. This is probably the most important report that we'll have. Show only state licensees with no matching member record. So you'll click that and then you'll see a list. And by the way, you'll see the date. This data was generated today. The NRDS data was imported yesterday morning, so as was the state agency data. And we can't get that data every single day. The NRDS data we can, but not the state agency data. KREC does not allow us to get data every single day. In the future, we're working out an arrangement with them where we'll get it every 2 weeks. But for right now, this data is about as fresh as it's going to get, but every day that we go along, it will become outdated. So it's important to do these reports now and kind of get an idea of what's happening. So here you're going to see in Northern Kentucky, there's 4 individuals who show that they're associated with this active dues-paying brokerage. In other words, the designated broker is a realtor for Century 121 Stellar Real Estate. It's in Florence, Kentucky, and we know that the brokerage is active. Keep in mind, you're only going to be seeing active brokerages with people operating underneath that active brokerage who are not paying dues to NAR. You will not see brokerages that have nothing to do with NAR or our association. Say, for example, there's the John Doe Real Estate Company, who is a broker, and he has a couple agents underneath him, but none of them pay dues to NAR. Those companies will not show in this report. Later, in a few days, Darren will have that completed for you, so you'll actually have a marketing list where you can go and you'll be able to see which brokerages are licensed in the state but aren't paying dues at all, or they're not even members, and they're not, and you'll be able to see essentially who those brokerages are that have decided consciously not to join the Realtor Association. But that's a secondary purpose for this report. Right now, what we're primarily interested in is that the brokers who are saying they have X licensees working under them as realtors have X number of licensees paying dues. Now keep in mind, this report is not perfect. As you go down the list as AEs, this report should essentially be viewed as a red flag. And it may be something that is easily explainable. There may be a technical glitch in the data. There may be some reason why these people aren't found in NRDS as a part of these active brokerages. So please don't take this as gospel. It's simply showing you red flags. And for Northern Kentucky Association of Realtors that has over 800 members, we can see right now that there's only about 4 concerns that they may want to look at. So that's good. Larger associations will have more. Some associations won't have any concerns. The whole purpose behind this is to meet the core standard. And again, we didn't want to just throw a list of licensees at you and let you compare. What we wanted to do is to give you a tool that does the hard searches behind the scenes, puts the data out there for you to see in an easily assimilatable format, and go from there. So please, when you call, you may have an issue. You might be able to explain, for example, why P. David Knock isn't in NRDS, or there may be some issue. So we understand that. You don't have to call or get defensive, we're not saying anything's wrong, but we're saying these are things you need to explore. There again, some of these will be explainable, and some of the times you're going to find that members should be paying dues when they're not. And that's the whole purpose behind it. If you have questions, of course, we're always available. Now, the good thing here too is that you can select all on this report, and then we can come back to Excel, and if I bring an Excel sheet over like so, I can then paste that data into Excel. You can delete these top few columns, but then you have essentially a functional spreadsheet here that you can type in or mark off or whatever you choose to do to address those members to ensure they're paying their appropriate dues. Some associations, I know the Northern Virginia Association of Realtors has implemented something similar to this that they paid a whole lot of money for, and they found some substantial discrepancies and were able to recoup some good dues dollars. So hopefully we don't have a lot of members doing that, but nevertheless, if we do, you can recoup some of those monies by getting people to join. That's the presentation. As always, if you have questions, please feel free to give me a holler. Thanks.